Okay, let's get through this PowerPoint a bit. I do want to talk about this for a second. Okay. So, as preparation for today, to get you guys kind of in the mood and in the mindset, today we have the trial in the Western District Courthouse at 1040. It's in the Namapo-Gu District. It is in Seoul, South Korea, in room 406. It will be a fully packed courtroom based on all the photos, based on everything I'm hearing from the trial. It is very full. It may get to standing room only inside the trial. Today is just a plea hearing. It is not sentencing, meaning there's going to be a lot of clickbait out there today. I know it because I always see these videos and they're super ultra clickbait. You know, like there's going to be the videos, Somali gets 30 years in jail. That's not going to happen today. That's false news. That's fake news. Don't fall for it. You know, people are going to say that. That's not true. It's just pleas. So even if today Somali pleads guilty to everything, it's not over. We have to, even if he pleads guilty, we have to hear from the victims. We have a victim that has officially registered a lawyer in this case and got all the case files. I believe that's Bong Bong. And there may be others, but at least Bong Bong will probably testify. Now, remember, as I put out the last couple of weeks, Johnny Somali, Ramsey Khalid Ismail, has spent the last months trying to pressure Bong Bong, trying to blackmail her, trying to shame her against testifying. The court does not take well to that. That's an aggravating factor, meaning it makes it worse for Johnny Somali. So we're going to have a day for her to testify. How about the convenience store worker? That might be another day. How about other people that were on the bus in the metro? They may testify. Each of these dates for testifying, even for one witness, could be spread out over months, meaning one witness could be in June, one could be in July, one could be in August, one could be in September. We could have just witness testimony taking 4 months. That's completely possible, and that's not counting any witnesses Johnny wants to bring. So if Johnny wants to bring his boo, Hank, Han Jong-yu, of course, his roommate, ally, financial supporter, possible romantic interest, who knows? This is, and he wants to put him on stand to testify for him. This is going to be a whole nother day as well. And these are all spaced out by a month. So at month intervals, we are going to have more and more and more of this. And then there is closing statements. So then we have closing statements from the prosecution and from the defense. And finally, after that, we have sentencing. That's its own day. It's literally Judgment Day. That's what it's called. And that's the day where if Ramsey Khalid Ismail gets jail time, he will be physically hauled off. So if on sentencing day, on Judgment Day, if he gets jail time, he will be physically put in cuffs, dragged off, and dragged off straight to prison, going right away, getting locked up right away. He doesn't get to give Hanky Poo a hug. He doesn't get to give him a last kiss. He gets to go off and he gets to, sit and enjoy his time in prison. That is Judgment Day. But Judgment Day is months away. It is not today. So I know a lot of people want this to be over. That's not how Korea works. In Korea, the process is the punishment. So, this is what you get. You FAFO. You mess around in a foreign country, you are dealing with their bureaucracy. We're also covering the case of Vitali in the Philippines. Vitali's court process is set to take 2 to 3 years. So anybody complaining that Korea is inefficient, look at the Philippines. That'll take 2 to 3 years. By the way, in America, just so you guys know, criminal cases, especially large criminal cases, can often take 2 to 3 years to go down. We were watching, less than a year ago, the trial of Sarah Boone. This is a trial that happened during COVID and didn't go down till essentially this year. So trials can take a long time, guys. This is due process. You are allowed that process, and that process isn't meant to punish the defendant necessarily, but to actually allow them to prepare a good defense. It's actually the defense that usually needs the time to prepare as well. So this is something that Johnny Somali is finding out about as he has to stay in Seoul, South Korea. Now, many of you have seen this chart. This chart is a chart I've been showing about the current charges. It has the case number, the date of the indictment, the merger. But I, of course, am a man of the PowerPoint. So I wanted to make a more colorful chart. So in my wisdom last night before I went to bed, I went and made this colorful chart here that goes through all those charges in a more summarized version. I'm going to go through these right now today, but let me see. Did we get a little answer here yet? 20 minutes is scheduled to start. It's full, but there's more foreigners than last time. The Korean press may not be able to get a seat because they're coming a little bit late. So that's an update from inside the courtroom. Once again, I'm getting the live updates right here. There's a lot of foreigners. Apparently the foreigners, some of them, it's their first time in a Korean courtroom, so they don't know that they have to be quiet. I think they're maybe a little bit loud. So any foreigners, if you visit the courtroom, make sure you keep it quiet. Keep the volume down. You also have to have your phones off. There's no video recording or audio recording. Now, you can bring your laptop into the courtroom, but you got to keep your phone off. Very interesting. Laptop can be on, phone can be off, but no recording. And we've got 20 minutes, actually 19 now till we start. So let's get through these charges here, and then I'll try to work through these 90 super chats. I will work through them in the largest to the smallest. So sorry, that's just the only reasonable way to do it. And we will get to all of them. If I don't get to all, I will do it. We'll stay here till we get through all of them and through the trial is done. So until that trial is done. Now remember, the judge has warned him if he shows up late, he will be in contempt of court. So we'll talk about that. But let's first talk about these charges. The first one is obstruction of business. That carries a penalty of a maximum of 5 years in prison. We also, and the facts that are supporting that one is the disrupting of 7-Eleven. That is throwing ramen, making threats to the staff, etc. He has already pled guilty to that. So when you plead guilty, you are a convicted criminal effectively under Korean law. So Johnny Somali, it is not defamation for me to say that Johnny Somali is a convicted criminal. The second he pled to that first count, he is a convicted criminal in the Republic of South Korea. It's done already. He pled guilty. It's locked in. Next, you had the Minor Crimes Act. You actually have 2 counts of that, count 1 and count 2. That carries a fine or up to 30 days detained. He was harassing people with a rotten fish for no reason at all, going around and swinging it in people's faces, asking them questions, bringing it around them. He has already pled guilty to that, as well as creating a disruption on the bus and metro system, which is Minor Crimes Act number 2. Once again, a fine, 30 days for that. And he has pled guilty. So he has pled guilty on 3 counts. So today we are here in the courtroom. The purpose is to turn that orange, which is undecided TBD, to be decided today. We are turning that orange to red. So we're going to find out both the facts, meaning what are the facts that support these crimes, as well as the pleas for the second obstruction of business. Now that carries, once again, another max 5 years, but we are pretty sure, my guess is that is for Lotte World. We know that they were investigating charges related to child sexual harassment, which they did decide to drop. However, we are trying to get those charges reopened. The Somali conviction team is working hard to submit new evidence to get those things reopened, which will bring the child sexual harassment back. But for now, we have obstruction of business for Lotte World, and that is going to be decided today. He's going to have to plead guilty or not guilty. Now, if you ask Legal Mindset's opinion on this, and this is where we get into my opinion. Now, I am not a Korean lawyer, but I am an American lawyer, and I have been following Ramsey. I do know Ramsey's psychology very well. I do know this case very well. I also was listening to the strategy of his defense lawyer, which, by the way, his defense lawyer filed something yesterday, a defense opinion, which led me to believe when I saw that filing that he is going to go forward today, and they're going to make it to trial today, and they're not going to cancel today. So all the indications, once he made that filing last night, where we were a go, which was great news for me, especially when I was coming back from my vacation. So I expect him to plead guilty on this. So I expect that for this charge, the obstruction of business number 2, I expect this will be a guilty. Why? He's already pled guilty to one. He thinks this charge is a joke. So I expect he's going to plead guilty to this. I'm pretty confident. I'm going to say 90% confident that he's going to plead guilty to this obstruction of justice count number 2. However, when we get to the deepfakes, that's where I'm not sure. So both him and his attorney hate the deepfake charges. They hate them. They think that the law is unjust. They think the law is BS. And Johnny said he was going to go full O.J. Simpson on the deepfake charges. These are very serious. They carry a maximum of 10.5 years in prison. That is mandatory prison time. Some of these others, like obstruction, you can get a fine. So for obstruction, he could just be fined. For deepfakes, based on how he's charged, they've got to give some sort of jail time. Now, they can issue what's called a suspended sentence, which means we're issuing jail time, but we're suspending that and giving you 0 time effectively. That's kind of like a probation. I don't think they're going to do that at this point if he's found guilty based on what he's done. That's only for very good boys who are very sorry and have done nothing else wrong, and that was the only thing that they did wrong, really. That is not Johnny Somali. Now, both of these have a max of 10.5 years. That's, of course, 21 years. So this is where we get to the 31 number. 21 here, and then 5 and 5, that's 31 maximum. I don't think they're going to give him 31 years. I don't think they're going to give the absolute maximum. I do think they'll give some number of years. However, the first deepfake is for, I think, Bong Bong. I have spoken to Bong Bong. So now I thought about interviewing her, but upon conferring with several people, I think that's a bad idea because she hasn't testified yet. And I do not want anything that I interview people on to damage the prosecution of Johnny Somali. So if I was to interview her, she could be cross-examined, meaning the defense attorney could attack her on that, attack her on the interview, if there's any inconsistencies, if there are any other things that she says publicly. So I am not going to interview her until after she testifies, which I'm pretty sure she will do. So that is my call on that. After she testifies, we can talk to her all we want, but not before. So that's the call on that. Once again, my goal is to protect the conviction of Johnny Somali. It's not to farm clout. I do not want to damage the prosecution in any way, shape, or form. I want this guy to go away for as much time as possible. That's my overriding number one thing. That's why they can't stop me. That's why when they try to defame me, attack me, threaten to attack me with HIV needles, threaten my family, give me death threats, send me hateful messages, make up all sort of bullshit, lies, defamation, all sorts of stuff, I just shrug it off because my goal is to convict Johnny and nothing else is going to stop me from that. I'm on that mission. The last thing is, and I've talked to some of the Korean streamers about this, this last count, deepfake count number 2, this is likely against the Korean streamers. So there's several Korean streamers where there were deepfakes, Dalgun, Youngman, Bang TV, J Company. Many of them had deepfakes. Some of them were with Hank as well. I didn't know. There were deepfakes of Hank kissing several Korean streamers. And maybe they were made by Hank. I don't know. But, some of them were at least distributed by Johnny, possessed by Johnny. So we're going to find out whether they were, whether the second count is for Korean streamers or not. We'll figure out which ones perhaps today. That will be decided as well. And once again, we'll get guilty pleas. So we'll be able to change those TBDs to a more concrete color later. So that's what we have there. Let me make sure there's no updates from the team here. Of course, once again, we've still got 10 minutes left. Okay, so the courtroom is getting pretty full. So there may not be very many seats in the courtroom. Also, I want to show this video. This is courtesy of Johnny Somali. Note exactly what Johnny said about the judge. So this is very relevant. This is what Johnny said about the judge. By the way, somebody in the chat asked, is RKI and Hank there? They are not there yet. It is 10 minutes before their trial. They are not yet in the courtroom. So RKI and Hank are not yet in the courtroom. My guess is they are hiding out. They're probably scared, and they are probably hiding out. So they're probably doing that before the courtroom. Here's what they had to say about the judge. And mind you, the judge definitely has seen this. Let's play the video.
The judge, the prosecutor, y'all can suck my
did you guys hear that in the back? Did everybody hear that?
Yeah. Suck my dick on soft. Causing anxiety by carrying a fish. Tell the judge you can suck my dick. I'll bring a fish to your mother's house, bitch.
Threatening the judge's mother. Literally, how low can you go? Once again, I think it is absolutely disgusting. Ramzi Khalid Ismail threatens people's families all the time. He's threatened the judge's family, the prosecutor's family, my family, everybody, really. He's a disgusting, horrible, immoral person. And this is why, once again, I feel zero sympathy for this person. He has caused all sort of unnecessary collateral damage, unnecessary attacks, unnecessary comments above and beyond the pale of normal morality.
I don't care.
He doesn't know Hank's address and apartment number where he's
that as well.
Stupid.
Yeah, he kept answering that he didn't know. It's bad. It looks really bad for him.
Then he said, I don't know because I don't speak Korean. And then the judge said, you can speak English. Because the judge,
The nigga told me, what's the address? I'm like, I don't know how to tell you. How do I say ching chong ching ching ching? How can I say that to you? I don't speak your language.
Essentially, he got in trouble for, number one, wearing the hat.
I didn't get in trouble. I don't speak Korean.
He did get in trouble.
Take the hat off. I don't know what these said.
So once again, using racial slurs, threatening the judge's mother. Do you think this is going to go well for him here today? I mean, does anybody think this is going to go well for him here today? Absolute insanity in my book. I have not, once again, and in my career as a lawyer, I have not seen stuff like this in a while, or ever, really. Let's go. We have another obstruction of business charge. The defendant made a disruption at Lotte World, which caused the ride to be shut down. Are they adding a third count? Interesting. So hold on. We now have Lotte World as well. So Lotte World has also come in. So I was right. So technically, sorry, guys, I was right. So there's another obstruction for Lotte World that's come in. That wasn't even filed in the court record. That may be a third. This may be a new count of obstruction. There may be 3 counts. It's actually unclear right now because this was just brought up. It wasn't even in the court record. So I'm not sure whether they're bringing that as part of the second obstruction charge. Let me pull this up here. Or as part of the, this is what we have today. Is the current status. I'm updating this as we go. So right now, guys, we got loud music on the bus in Lotte World. This may be a third count. They may be separating this into a third count and maybe having 1 count for the loud music and 1 count for Lotte World. We do not know yet. We know this is Korean streamers, the men, and we know this is Bong Bong. All right, guys, we have an official plea. We have an official plea from Ramzi Khalid Ismail, and he is now pleading guilty to the obstruction of justice. He is pleading guilty to the obstruction of justice. And we have a bombshell here, ladies and gentlemen. We have something that is going to change the game for this entire trial, and it's going to drag it out for so much longer. And that is the defendant has just pled not guilty to the deepfakes. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, he has pled not guilty to the deepfakes. That means we are now going to have a full trial, which is going to go on for months of evidence and counter evidence on the deepfakes. There's going to have to bring in expert witnesses. They're going to have to, do all that for that specific charge. Ladies and gentlemen, this completely changes the game. And I am all here for that. So now I can fully show you the chart. It's been redone. Let me get this thing saved and get this uploaded. It's definitely not going to be perfectly centered, but here is now the update on the plea status. Now, once again, this hearing is not over yet. So we could have more information coming out. He has now pled guilty to obstruction number 1, minor crimes act count 1, minor crimes act count 2, obstruction count 2. He's pled guilty to 4. He has pled not guilty to deepfake count 1, deepfake count 2, right? So the ones that carry up to 21 years in prison, mandatory prison time. We're now going to have a full trial, ladies and gentlemen. If he starts acting up, yelling at people, yelling at fans, if there's interactions, we're going to get those guys for you play by play. As I'm here calling the shots in Bangkok, I'm kind of the shot caller here as the Somali conviction team on the ground is going. Okay, so we have an update on the procedure. Here's an update. The Lotte World obstruction was combined with the first deepfake, which means there are now 7 charges. 2 minor crimes act, 2 deepfakes, 3 obstruction of justice. All right, here we go. So this is the new accurate chart, which your boy has edited today, even as a boomer. I've managed to get this thing done. Here are all 7 charges. He's guilty on the first obstruction, guilty on minor crime act number 1, guilty on minor crimes act number 2, guilty on obstruction number 2, not guilty. He's pled not guilty. Once again, the prosecutors are going to try to prove this on deepfake count 1, deepfake count 2. He's pled not guilty, and Lotte World. That's the new obstruction. That's count 3, and he's pled guilty on that. So that is the updates. Let's see what we have from the courtroom. The judge asked for evidence of innocence of the deepfake. So the judge has just asked the lawyer, what evidence do you have that Johnny is guilty? Here's what the lawyer said. The lawyer said he doesn't have any evidence that Johnny is innocent. So now Johnny is going to have to try to find some evidence because he has no evidence of his own innocence. The victim is going to testify in the deepfake case, which means Bong Bong is going to testify, in the Korean streamers, the ones I interviewed, Dalgun, J Company, Bang TV, Jungman, they're all going to testify. So they're going to come up against him in court. The same people that he tried to sue, Dalgun, that he filed the charges against, is going to get to testify and stare at him. Dalgun, who punched him in the face, physically, is going to get to legally punch him in the face again. That is awesome. They're now out of the trial. So they've now stepped out of the room. The next trial date will be in a month. So we're going to have 1 month for the next trial date. That's going to be in. Oh, I'm sorry. I am incorrect, guys. I am incorrect. We have an even better update. Okay, Hank is outside the courtroom cursing people out. Hank is now outside the courtroom cursing at people. So I have a live update. Hank is cursing people out outside the courtroom. He's spurging out. He's just going crazy. Apparently, we're going to get video of it. Probably in Korean news. He's going off on the fans. He's going off on the media. He is not having a good time. So Hanky Poo is very angry right now. Johnny is yelling at Hank, telling him no crashing out, no crashing out. Hank cannot control himself. He is losing it right now, according to everyone outside. They switched roles for the day, apparently. So I guess Hank is the attack dog today. Guys, we have the next trial date. The next trial date is August 11th, 2025. It will be a full date of testimony. And there will be a full day. He is not going to have another day in court until August, ladies and gentlemen, until August. And this will not be the final day in court. This is just one of many. August. So this is going to be a very big day in court. And it's going to be a long one too. So it's going to be a very long one, not one. I have now reports that Hank and Johnny accidentally walked into the basement. They didn't know where they were going, and they accidentally walked into the basement. Probably because Hank is so mad. He was crashing out on people, yelling at people. He's so upset about everything that went down and being hit with new charges. They were hit with a charge today, ladies and gentlemen, that they had no idea about. Not even I, and I have the court records. I didn't even know about the obstruction charge because the prosecution, I guess there's this weird, I guess they combined it somehow. So this is a very interesting thing. I have access to the court records, so I know everything that's going on. But I guess they combined it so we didn't see it till today. So we actually had a surprise today. We had a new charge. So now we have a brand new charge. We have 5 guilty pleas, 2 not guilty pleas, and we have a full day coming up in which his own lawyer said they have absolutely zero evidence in his defense. Think about that, guys. If your lawyer says you have no evidence that you're innocent, what does that mean? What does that mean? That means you're absolutely 100% cooked.